This is the sound of the Killa beatbox body part sample pack. Over 120 loops, samples, and one-shots for your music production. Exclusively on Splice.
Killa Sweet 16 streaming across all music platforms now. Featuring 16s from Tina Kamau, Orifice Volgatron, Foreign Beggars, Marga, Bob Villain, Illerman, and Trigger. The sounds of Killa Sweet 16s streaming now.
AG Dentistry. In my line of work, not only does what I do with the mouth get reviewed, it's also my instrument. And it's beyond important to me that my teeth get the professional service they deserve. The AG family provide expert dentistry, whether it's NHS or cosmetic. They're the finest in London. Head over to agdentistry.co.uk for more information on treatments and prices. AG Dentistry. Bob Villain.
We don't care.
We don't care.
Go home.
Out on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and all streaming platforms.
Go home. Killa podcast. KillaOfficial.com.
Beatbox created.
Killa.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Killa podcast. Serves you right for showing up. As you can tell, we're not in the KK Heights right now. We're in a higher than Heights. We're in Manchester, on the top floor in Holiday Inn Express. Well, better way to express it than to get the lads inside the raid. Ladies and gentlemen. Yes. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
We tried a few times, man.
Children of Zeus inside the place.
We're here, man.
Konny, Tlyer.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it has been a bit of a journey that you guys have been. I mean, predating any of this business, we've known each other in many different walks of life, isn't it?
I think me and you probably known each other. Well, I don't know if we've known each other. We've been in the same circles, in the same clubs, in the same scene for maybe 20 years, maybe something like that.
I know. I mean, I try and avoid numbers, but there's no doubt
Sorry,
in
man.
it.
Let's
lost
not age
putting numbers
ourselves.
on things.
About
yeah.
5 years, man. That was a wrong number. 5 years or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, long time.
There's no doubt in it as well. It's like, I think the last time we connected, like properly on a show level, was probably Hip Hop Camp.
Yeah.
Long time.
We just got back there from this weekend, and I realised that was like 9-10 years ago, man.
Yeah, right.
Numbers again.
Sorry, it was a while
Numbers
back.
game back in.
Kela, Fallacy was, we all there, innit?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And Aggie Dukes, do you remember?
Aggie Dukes, wherever he... Bro, big shout to Aggie Dukes, wherever he is, man.
Big shout out to Duke. Like, that's my guy, like, from the jump. Right, I met Aggie Dukes is an awesome MC, by the way, a UK MC. He used to go to a school just down the road from where I grew up. And I met him when he was 14 to do a Jawbreaker remix that was going to go on a PlayStation game. And he walked in, he's like, oh, I'm learning rapper. Next thing, he's with Fallacies, with you guys.
Yeah. Well, I met him through Fallacy, man. And he used to turn up to the shows and go and stand on stage, and he'd close his eyes. Hands out. Hands out. He'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, he knew what he was doing, innit? he was a star from the jump, innit?
Yeah, he kind of set precedents for that sort of thing. It's like, if I'm going to go in, I'm going to go in early. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Start with the whole thing,
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so Manchester kind of feels like it's going through a lot of a change. We're quite near the Trafford Centre, is that what it's called? Yeah. So what's to do with that thing? So it's got like different quarters of different activities and different continents and stuff. Is that the deal?
Yeah, kind of. I think so. Anyway, that's the vibe, innit? Like, you got to think like.
When was the last time you were in there, man?
You know what? I've only been in there less than a handful of times. A handful of times if I only had like 3 fingers. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was all right, man. It's not really my kind of thing. It's a bit too shiny.
Do you think, like, because like London goes through these phases of like regenerating and gentrifying and stuff, but Manchester's a lot more smaller. Do you feel it a lot more harder when things like this happen, like a lot of kind of commotion in a particular area?
Well, personally, yeah, I think so. I think it took me kind of being this age to realise like how quickly things can change. I remember like growing up, your mum and dad would be like, oh, it never used to be like this, it's changed so fast, and I just think, yeah, right, whatever. But like, like now it's like it's pretty crazy. Like every single thing that I knew is just like the other way around. Like all the schools that used to be there aren't there. The pubs, it's just a completely different place. I don't mind, but it's just a bit crazy.
It is a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
Because like you say, everything that your parents preached proved right.
Yeah, and I'm just find myself saying the exact same things to my kids, and it's like,
Shit.
it's just like that, man. It's like I know exactly what I thought, and I know what they think. They just think, shut up, yeah, whatever. And I just can't change that thought.
This was Fields one day.
Yeah.
This was all Fields, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shopping centres here.
Yeah.
And you'd like to say this will all be yours one day, but it won't be.
No.
It's someone else's. Yeah. Well, it's not glittered with gold.
No.
You know what I mean? You got kids, Konny?
No.
No kids.
I've not got any kids, man. I'm happy living a kind of reckless life where I don't have to worry about anything when I get it. You know, I can be away for like 3 weeks and come home and just go to bed and not have to think, right, I need to feed someone, I need to all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? To be fair, it's a bit selfish, but it's just the way it is, man.
I'm exactly. I've got a snake, right?
Got a snake, man.
And they're like to say that they're the lowest maintenance animal on the planet as a pet is an understatement. Like they shit once every 10 days, if that. You can feed them less than 2 weeks. You know, sometimes it's like you can leave them to a month as long as you give them water. I can't even do that shit. It's ridiculous. And so I know where you're coming from.
Man. I eat like the closest I've had is like I've had sea monkeys, man. Sea monkeys, and I killed them all. Do you know what I mean? I'm not ready for kids. You know what I mean? Like, you know what sea monkeys are,
No,
right?
what are sea monkeys?
Do you know what sea monkeys are?
Are they like the mad like little pets that you get from the shop? Like you can't even see them. They're like
Right, basically,
flies
they
out of the water.
come in a mini aquarium, yeah, about this big, right?
Yeah.
You fill it with water, and it comes with a packet of dust,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you pour this dust into the water, add some more dust, which is their food, and basically it's a type of... I say they're like almost like shrimp or something. They look a little bit like shrimps, right? But tiny shrimps. And eventually this dust, apparently in their egg form, they can just lie dormant for ages until you put them in water. So there's this creature, and once you actually add them to water and add this another magical stuff and stir it all around, they start hatching and growing, and eventually there's these tiny little things that swim around in this. Yeah, they're not actually monkeys, but
This ain't some David Attenborough business.
Bro,
I've never heard of
it's
that.
When you've seen puddles, you ever looked in a puddle?
You know
and
when
seen
you-
them things that fly?
Yeah.
It's just like
Well,
them, man.
basically, you know when you was a kid, right, and you used to read like comics and stuff like that, and on the back page, you know, them old school like black and white American comics, on the back page you have things like X-ray glasses and what else do they have, like things, I don't know, like buzzer, you shake someone's hand and it give them an electric shock. There used to be sea monkeys in there as well, and I was always like, what are sea monkeys, man? And eventually, when I was well too old to be into them, I saw them. I was like, I'm buying these, man. Do you know what I mean? And grew them for a little bit. The water became a bit mucky. They started floating to the top, dying, and eventually it was just like scum at the top of the water. And I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have kids, man.
But you tried.
I tried to make it work, man. But yeah, sea monkeys, they don't last very long, man. Apparently.
What do you think it is about like creatives and their disciplines there, but their responsibilities? Why? How come do you think there's such a low level of like responsibility in our hearts? Well, maybe I'm just a minority. So.
Nah, you know what? He does well, man, to balance it, to be fair to him. But I think with a lot of people that I know that are creatives, a lot of creatives don't have any money, which is, you know... A lot of people, when I'm thinking of certain people now, I'm, you know, just picturing certain people like, you haven't got kids. You also can't really look after yourself, do you know what I mean? And also, I think a lot of people have just got their brain as a creative, your brain's constantly thinking about stuff that if you've got kids, you can't think about when you've got kids because you've got to attend to your kids. Whereas I think, you know, you must know what it's like when you're with your kids, you can't think about music.
To be fair, my head is constantly thinking of music, kids or no kids. Like, it always has been, always will be. I find a balance, because obviously it's like as creatives, we still have families, we still have love, do you know what I mean? So it's finding that place. I was lucky, I found a great woman early, and you know what I mean, like we've lived together and we found like a balance where I can still be creative and have my own time. And you know, I suppose I'm the lucky one, but I feel like it's a lot more to do with time management. I think you haven't got the time. Like for me, everything is about balance. So, you know, in my early days, if I wouldn't have been able to have a family because it was certain, I was just searching, running around, just trying my best to kind of make it, as they say, until I kind of, you know, it's more now about doing things that make us happy. So, you know, I'm not that eager to go and do every single gig that's offered to me.
It's like less running.
Yeah,
and more
less
walking.
running. It's like spending the time, the quality time, because there's nothing more important than the time. Money can be made, the time you can never make back. So it's more about making sure I spend enough time with my family, and if it's beneficial, like treat this like work and joyful as well. If I enjoy it and I want to do it, then I do it.
Yeah, that's
But
the
make
thing.
sure I never overwork and never over chill. You know, keep the balance right.
Because it's funny, innit? Because when you're doing everything, you know, Hungry Tiger in it and going for it, trying to find the first entry hole to do what you got to do, you don't realise that the journey's already happening, and there's also a search for the right woman as well. That comes in as well, and that's a nightmare in itself. That's like 2 jobs.
That's why I say, man, I was lucky because I got in there early, you know. Like, I've been with my missus since we was, like, teenagers, so I kind of missed all the searching and the, you know, all that kind of stuff. I can't even imagine trying to find, you know, a suitable partner now at this age. I couldn't even imagine having to go through that. So, yeah, I suppose I'm one of the lucky few, I suppose.
Yeah, and just teaming up with the right people to make the right moves as well.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you boys.
To be fair, Konny saves me a lot of time because he does a lot of the socials and the answering the emails and all that kind of stuff, as well as, you know, being a creative.
And you're like, shit, I go to the Trafford Centre now.
Yeah, exactly.
If I have my reins on that message. But where did it all begin? How did you two connect? I mean, let's go to the root. Where did it all begin?
We met actually in France. Funny enough, even though we're both from Manchester, it took for us to be in France to actually meet. I was aware of Broken English. Obviously, I was one of the early Manchester rappers of kind of our generation.
Yeah, they were a bad boy crew as well.
Yeah, man.
They made noise. I mean, you know what I mean? Guys made noise.
Well, that was basically how I heard of him, because I was just like the kind of person I wanted to know who else was out there. And the name that kept coming back to me was Broken English. So I remember going to a show at, this was actually before France, but we didn't meet. But I'd seen Konny on stage before at Band on the Wall doing. I think
being miserable, that's it.
he's always miserable, but nah, he was.
Not anymore, yeah.
He's smiling, but nah, he was basically. He was performing an EP that never came out, which I was quite angry about, because I was like, I think that's why we connected the second time. I was like, yo, I want to help you I want to do this EP that I thought.
Because you heard it.
Yeah, because I heard it. And it was
Band
like
on the
something I
Wall's
was
got
interested
a
in.
great sound to it, that place. You can hear everything in that venue.
Especially the old Band on the Wall, man.
It's probably changed since then.
Yeah, they've reamped it and stuff like that. And it's great, it's great, but I feel like the sound back in the day, man, was just like,
that's
ruthless.
legendary, man. So that was the inception, that was the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's where it started.
That's where we met.
Nothing really happened for a few. We got, after we came back from France, we made a song or two, but then it was just kind of not much happened for a few years. We stayed in contact. We both were doing our own thing. I was still on and off doing the Broken English thing, but then it I'd say about 2009. 2009, Still Standing. We started work. Around the time you did Still Standing, we kind of worked on a few things, and Ali from First Word picked up on it. It was like, I want to put it out on vinyl. We had all this stuff on SoundCloud, just sat there, and a couple of people liked it.
Not really popping. It was just.
Well, you know what it was? I sent it to all the old connections I had from the Broken English days. Some people were really up on it. Some people just totally ignored it. The majority of people that ignored it now reply to those same messages asking me for the same songs, and I just send them a pointing up finger emoji saying, look back 10 years ago when you totally ignored the last message I sent you. Do you know what I mean?
Hold no prisoners, Konny.
Well,
Hold no.
No, it's got to be like that. You know what I mean? But it's one of them. We didn't really go anywhere. Some people really liked it, but it didn't go anywhere until First Word Records decided to put it out, and they were like, you need a name. We didn't have a name, and Children of Zeus name came about, and we put the records out, and from there it's just kind of just steadily kind of, it's been steady. There's nothing that's gone woo like that and then backed out. It's just kind of steady, gone like that to the point where
the making of the music was like that. Sorry, even the making of the music was like that. It was just us connecting whenever we could, because Konny was working at the time. I had other commitments as well, jobs and family and whatever. So it was just like when we could get together. So basically all of the Story So Far stuff was stuff we'd made over the years, just whenever we could.
Right.
And it was literally like 2 hours, he's come in his work shoes and, and he'd be like, right, let me just put this verse down. And it was just kind of stuff like that, beats he'd had lying about, beats and ideas I'd had lying about, and stuff that we both was like, yeah, that fits, and just trying to find a sound. And basically that's why the Story So Far, you know, at first I didn't want to, you know, I was really against putting it out just because it didn't, we felt like, right, now we found ourselves, all this kind of stuff seemed a little bit irrelevant, which I was, you know, I don't mind admitting I was wrong, because it basically did tell the story of where we'd come from. It kind of shown you your development of the sound, you know what I mean? And I feel like it makes Travel Light, the album, make a lot more sense, you know?
And also people like to feel like they're on a journey as a listener. They want to see you grow as an artist, and they want to hear what the stories, you know?
Get off me, mate. No, I just wanted to say, to be fair, I've always been like, I like the mystique of artists, so I like someone to come out of nowhere and just be like, wow, what's this? I suppose I didn't really understand the value of this. It's kind of like a new thing with the old social media side of things. It's like people coming on the journey with you and being part of it, which I feel like we've got like a massive group of people that are really flying the flag for us, you know, and screaming out our names. So.
Really are screaming.
But I just like what he was just saying. I think a huge part of why people like what we do is they saw, like, the people that started out from the beginning saw the frustrations and the, you know, like, stuff not working and me moaning about it and saying this, but oh look, this little thing's happened, which is like a little minor win for us. You know what I mean? And they feel like they're part of Children of Zeus because they've been there, seen it from the beginning,
championing all
saw
the
the
way.
music when it was like a little less well polished, and you know, to the point of where it's at now, and I think they'll continue to see, you know, hopefully it growing. You know what I mean? So everyone feels like they're part of it and they're invested in it. So I think the reason why this works is because people do feel like, you know, every win for us is a win for them as well. Do you know what I mean?
I think there's definitely that. I remember when I was in Germany, and this wasn't that long ago. That's where we reconnected, and I saw the thing for the first time, and it was like a humble crowd, nice bubbly room, like packed, like filled up. There's football going on and stuff, but everyone was just like so there for you guys, and it was like this real like moment of, like they know your stuff. They know your stuff, and they kind of, it felt like they knew you as characters. That was it.
Yeah.
It's nice, especially in another country and all that. It's nice.
Well, I mean, you know, as social media tells you, like, everything, you know, everyone only shows you the good sides, but there is, you know, we can't lie. We go outside of the UK, even some shows in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not always like a room full of adoring fans like everyone paints it out to be. Sometimes you go someplace and you have to be a bit more humble. Like, yo, there's not as many people here, or not everyone knows the music, but that's just a building, man. You build from that. You go back next time. Do you know what I mean? Like, and should be celebrated. That's bro. The thing about us is, like, for instance, we went to Switzerland not too long ago, and we don't have a big fan base in Switzerland. We went there. It was probably the quietest show we've done maybe ever, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, one of them anyway. Do you know what I mean? All right, not ever, but
maybe Children of Zeus ever.
No, that's what I'm obviously. That's what I mean. Children of Zeus, like Children of Zeus, like it was. You know, it was. We were like, wow, not many people there. Do you know what I mean? But they all enjoyed it, but the bigger part of it was I can look back on my deathbed and go, what did we do the day after that? And we had one of the best days of our lives the day after that. We went up the mountains and smoked weed up the mountains and ate some great food and saw the place, and we were like, you know what, I'm gonna walk away with that, because that's, you know, I could, you know, this time last year I was working in a day job. Do you know what I mean? This time now I'm going around the world. Maybe not as many people as some of the other people performing get to, you know what I mean, in front of him, but I did some amazing stuff that day. Do you know what I mean? Like, a really amazing stuff, which I'll forever look back upon. So
it'll end up being the postcard moment where you just like, I remember that one probably more than all the
of course,
how many hundred shows you're doing, you know.
Yeah, of course.
I remember, like, especially nowadays, dude, like, where at the start, you know, 19, 20, 21, I was just bang, bang, go, and it all becomes crazy. Nowadays, even to be in Manchester, I'm like, we're going out tonight. I want to see the place.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't get the opportunity when you're in and out, do you?
Well, you know what I mean? If but the thing was, like, going back to the Switzerland story, the guy who took us out there, the promoter, we had obviously another day there before our flight, so he was like, are you guys just going to chill in your hotel? I was like, no, we want to go and wake up early and go and experience it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, that's weird, because all the American guys who come here just want to stay in the hotels. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, no, this is part of the reason why we do it, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have seen Switzerland if I wasn't doing music. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have gone up the mountain if we hadn't gone and done that show. So for me, like, it's the music's part of it, but the experience and the story and the you know, all the little things that I go and see around the world, which I wouldn't have seen, are part of all this. Do you know what I mean? It all goes hand in hand to me. Like, it's pretty important as well, man, to me.
To be fair as well, I think that the American guys was like partying the night away, and then they's like probably sleep the day away. Do you know what I mean? We're not. We prefer to kind of do our show, maybe have a rum or two, but apart from that, man, we're not really, you know, we're not really into all the kind of madness and all that. We'd rather get out and see a little bit and mingle with the people. That's another thing about the, you know, I think most of the people, it feels like we've at least had a conversation with all the people that are into our music. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like we personally know all the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, because they remember that as well. It becomes something that they hold dear to about you guys too. That and acts that do engage and give a shit and want to be a part of it. Yeah, no, I feel that for sure. And yeah, so like when you're because I know I definitely absorb stuff, but maybe a little bit easily more when I was younger. Like, to be out in Switzerland, does that inspire you to like write some stuff, or is it that you'd be at home and that space between the studio and being with your families, does that give you space to inspire?
I think always inspiring. I think like more food for thought as well. Like as far as like obviously it's for me. It's not even just for me. For anybody, it's important to keep your brain going, man. To keep it learning and seeing new things. If you see the same thing every day, your brain's gonna switch off, man. You're not learning anything. Your brain's gonna switch off. You have to keep it going. Do you know what I mean? And just being out there, seeing new people, seeing different things, being in different environments, just anywhere we go, be even if it's, you know, not the best experience, it's all kind of fuel to take back home and be like, you know what I mean? You never get stagnant. It just keeps you going. And plus, doing shows, man, when you're so busy, man, you can't wait to get back in the studio.
Right,
you know?
Yeah, because then it becomes a safe haven of like, okay, now we can step it up and do some other shit for the next time we're out.
Exactly,
there.
yeah.
What's the writing process for you? You both of you, what's the writing process?
For the children of, I can speak for children of Zeus. Not necessarily our personal, how we personally write, but there's no set process for like how we do it, which, you know, that suits me to the T, because I like keep things creative and fresh. It's literally a case of Konny might have made a beat, just the start of a beat or whatever. I hear it, I go, oh, well, I've got a melody for that. Like maybe I've started something at home, and then Konny comes a bit later and puts a verse on it, or he might go, oh, I'll change them drums, or, you know, just that kind of stuff, man. There's no particular way it starts. It's just like, yo, whatever works, you know.
And I know people don't always like to see how the sausage is made, you know what I mean? Like, but the truth of it is, I'm quite happy for him to help me write my lyrics. And, you know, he probably won't let me say it, but likewise, you know what I mean? Like, we go in the studio and we don't write as single entities sometimes. Sometimes we write it as children of Zeus. So we might start at the beginning of the song and work our way to the end. So we might start on my verse and I might start writing and go, right, I'm stuck in the fifth line, and he'll give me the fifth line. Or he might have a melody and I go, right, this is a couple of words that fit to that melody. So we lost the ego for this album, and, you know, as MCs, you don't let people write for you, do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't let anyone else write for me, and I'm not saying he writes bars for me, but we work it out between us, do you know what I mean? And I think that it's not always the case, because quite often he'll just come and he's got a verse recorded, or I'll come and go, look, this is my verse. But I think the process of making the album was speeded up so much more, just working out between ourselves rather than just going, I'm going to be stubborn about this and just sit here until, like, you know, I can't think of this line, or I'm stuck. Now we just worked out between us, do you know what I mean? So I think that's one thing that's a kind of a children of Zeus thing that we kind of worked out recently. And it's not, as he says, there's no real process to any of it. It's very kind of different for each song.
Try and be fun, man. That's the most, you know, try and make it fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's, for me, because when you do it for so long, things can get stagnant so quick and so easy.
That's right.
You can either get, you know, you might have found a preset way of making beats, so then you stick to that, and then for the next, it's exciting for a minute, and then it's like, oh God, this is the same starting point every time, what else? So for me, it's like, make every moment exciting. So sometimes we'll get into a beat and it's like, you know what, even sometimes I'll just go, you know what, I'm cancelling the session because I'm
You're just not in this one.
Yeah, but you know, for the most part, it's about right. Let's change this up. This ain't working. Let's do something else until it's something that sparks that excitement. You know what I mean?
Sick. Yeah, and you know what? Like you say, there's no preciousness in it because you're a team, innit? And that's the way it should. Nothing better than bouncing off each other, innit?
Nothing better, man. Nothing better than that. And it's like there's always a thin line. I feel like when you're in a studio with anybody, especially me, I'm a very, I have to be that single chef kind of mentality. Obviously, but with working with different people, I feel like it's easily to go one way or the other. Do you know what I mean? So it can be like a negative effect of like, oh, I'm not able to kind of just be myself here, or it can be a thing where we're bouncing like you love it, I love it. Like, do you know what I mean? So for us, it's important to find them moments. We've also got the time on our own when we can do the more personal stuff. But for when we're together, it's more about them moments, like something that we both vibe on, we both agree, oh, this is it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. And when it translates to a crowd, what's that feeling like when you know you've been like grinding? You know, I mean, I see like fucking Knockout Jazz Cafe. Yeah. Knock it out. And I see like loads of other people posting stuff now. This stuff is connecting. The stuff you're doing.
It's weird, man, because you know what? Obviously, if you know, we've both been around separately for a few years, you know what I mean? But I feel like this time round was slightly different. It's been this time round's been the first time I've done bars on stage and not rapped him because the crowd's rapping him. You know what I mean? And I've never had that. I've stood there and like I can point a mic at the crowd and they're doing the bars, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that's a mad feeling. I remember we did a show in Manchester a few years ago when we put our first single out, and it's
that was madness. I saw a video then,
bro. Yeah, it was like it was a small club. It wasn't by any means a big club, but it was rammed full of the best people in Manchester, and the vibe was insane. And it was the first time people sang back the song, and it was a pretty emotional moment.
Do you mean the
Whiskey Jar one? So it was the first time. It was the first time we'd done a show where people knew the lyrics. Like we could stop singing and people were singing it back, and we were like, "Yo, this is different." Do you know what I mean? And
that's just awesome,
bro. I can't lie to you. I mean, I'm gonna stay humble. Like, by no means, there's probably people sat here watching, going, "You guys are, they're probably doing well more than us." But to me, that was, you know what I mean, just having people in a crowd telling you back the same lyrics that you'd spent a bit of time writing and stuff. It's a really weird feeling, man, and it's a great feeling, man. I can't lie. It's dope to see it, man. Like I never get tired of it. Do you know what I mean? I really don't. But yeah, we're at the point now where we're doing shows, and the majority of them. I mean, obviously, if we go abroad, it's a bit harder. But the majority of the UK shows, people notice. As soon as the first beat comes in, people are like, "Yeah, they know what's going on." You know what I mean? Start singing along. It's a good time for us, man. I can't lie, man.
Do you think they're like a pressure? Because sometimes you can kind of guesstimate that, or you can feel the pressure of like, okay, we better put out something else quick, or this album's going to be just what they know all the time. We need to put the next thing out. Do you get that? Do you get that feeling sometimes? Does the pressure set in when you're on stage and you think,
I think most artists probably get that.
I reckon.
But I feel like with the amount of kind of work we've put in and kind of not got that much back in as far as kind of like, being out there and people knowing who we are.
Burn.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you were saying, just people knowing the stuff. I mean, people have to imagine we've been doing this since. I mean, I've been on stage since I was 13 years of age, man. I won't say how old I am now. I don't necessarily have to, but
you're old enough to know better.
20 years at least. You know what I mean? I've been doing this thing and performing to people, literally having conversations with the back to me. Do you know what I mean? Like having to kind of pull that out of my soul and just be like. And to have people anticipating what we're going to do next or knowing the words or, just having people's ears.
It's best.
Like, it's the greatest, man. And like, we've never had any expectations and we still don't. It's like just everything that's happening right now is a bonus. The plan is to make the music that we love and hopefully them like-minded people are there and they've proved to be. So for us, it was never... I mean, the next album, I don't know, maybe there might be a bit of pressure, but, for me, I didn't feel the pressure on this one. It was like, let's just do the album we want to do.
And you can't watch that, can you? Because a lot of it also, I mean, like you were saying, you guys have been circulating around the same scene, similar scenes, similar walks of life, doing different... I mean, your voice it sounds so like refined and ready to go. Your raps, you've been doing it from the jump off, from what I remember. I remember you when I was coming up back in the day. Yeah. So it's like timing comes into this as well, doesn't it?
Massively.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you guys have just been like on a bench ready to go for a minute.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, pow, and it's showtime. It's game time. And you're out, you know?
Yeah, well, like, a few people have said this to us, like, would it have worked earlier? You know, if we would have connected earlier, could we have done this all a while ago? Do you know what I mean? I don't think we could have, man. I think it had to happen now, do you know what I mean?
I agree. It's almost like a response to the more harder drill, grime stuff. It's got more, it's got a bit of more substance, something of a 90s throwback, neo throwback. Yeah. But then still has like, it's kind of more grounded like UK rap root.
It's a bit, you know what? It's just a bit of, I think, really, it's just a bit of everything we're into. Do you know what I mean?
It is totally.
Yeah. I still listen to new music. I still listen to old music. I grew up on old music that came out before my time. I grew up on music from the 90s.
Helly Hansen.
You know, exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of everything. Do you know what I mean? So literally, if you listen to our music, it's just
everything.
It's the type of stuff that we just listen to. Do you know what I mean? And we just made music that he always says, just make the music that's missing from your record collection. Do you know what I mean? So
that's cold. No, that's new.
And that's what we did. I just made a record that I can just put on in between all the other records that I listen to and go, yeah, this sits nicely with all that. Do you know what I mean?
What a great analogy.
Shout out Soul Purpose for that one. A good friend of mine.
Soul Purpose, all tight, man.
Yeah. I was saying, I was talking to Lukey, DJ IQ.
Oh,
recently.
yeah?
Yeah, he came through.
He's now barsing it up as well, I see.
He got voice for it as well, hasn't he?
Barsing it up, yeah, all tight IQ, man.
I was saying to him, like, I wonder what it's like to be like Dave Grohl and like have a definitive like Nirvana album.
Yeah.
Everyone either knows it, has it, or has had it. And him not in his world having it in his record collection in the same way.
Right.
That must be mad, isn't it?
In what way do you mean though? Like what? Like
he hasn't got. I mean, he probably has his Nirvana like equivalent, but he hasn't got like the Nevermind album. Like, what does he have in replacement of that? That maybe like the majority of the world has experienced of it.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thought. I mean, you guys are. That'll come. I guess it comes to all of us at some point. But that's such a mad idea.
Well, I'll tell you what's the weird thing as well is our album took 4 months from the time when it was finished to when it actually came out. So it came out and I listened to it loads, man. And there was times when I doubted it. There was times when I loved it. There was times when I was walking through the sunshine and was like, yo, this is it. It makes sense in the sunshine. And then it came out and I saw the response to it and what people were saying about it and how they felt about it. And I listened to it in a totally different way.
For real?
Bro, in a totally different way. I listened to it and I was like, oh yeah. I see what people are saying about it. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
The thing was, people are saying stuff that, like, you know what it's like with art, innit? People, it's like, for instance, Dizzy Rascal, let's say, when he put his first album out, I don't know what he made his beats on. He probably just made his beats on whatever he could find to make his beats on. If he made it, I don't know if he made it on PlayStation, I don't know, Fruity Loops, who knows? But people go, listen to this industrial sound that he's created and he's done this and he's done that and put all this, weight behind it. And they were doing that with our stuff and they were like, I see where this bit's come from and they've done this because of this. And I was listening to it going, nah, we didn't do that because of that. But now I'm listening to it the way you're listening to it. I see why, you know what I mean? And I totally listened to it in a different way, man. And it was weird. I reckon, like you're saying, that even our record now sits in my collection kind of differently to how it sat before it came out and everyone, you know what I mean?
That's such an interesting
perspective. Imagine if artists kind of made sure that the album that they made fit in the collection regardless of how it went down with the public. So if you look at that that's kind of where we're coming from. Like, that's how I've always thought about it. Just kind of...
Was that boundary pushing, you mean?
No, I just feel like whatever I want to wear, I'm going to make. So I could be completely wrong. So like everybody else might not get it. But as an artist, this is my form of expression. So this is what I have to put forward because this is what I'm feeling right now.
Do you think then, saying that a lot of people make music for other people's record collections rather than their own record collection, are they making it in thinking what's missing from your collection or what even... I reckon a lot of people probably make music thinking, what is in your collection, let me make some more of that. Do you know what I mean? Rather than...
Well, that I think like if you don't listen, so if you don't listen to the kind of music you make and you wouldn't even listen to your own music, then I feel that would be strange for me. Maybe not for everybody because it's also a business.
For you to enjoy it yourself.
Yeah, I could, as an artist, because I feel like that's where I'm coming from, the art side of it. Maybe not the business side of it, which I would never, argue against anybody that's doing the business side of things because it's work is work. But for me as an artist, I couldn't picture trying to make music for somebody else, like music that I don't enjoy. Do you get what I mean?
I get what you
find
mean.
it pretty strange.
It's a false commodity in a way that you're kind of presenting to people, isn't it? It's like if you're not in it yourself.
Yeah.
I find that actually. Now you come to think about it, because with, no, like you say, no disrespect to anyone doing the mainstream commercial stuff, but to cookie cutter that stuff sometimes. I had a chat with Frank Music about that as well, because he does a lot of pop music, and I'm like, you know what, man, I can't get with that stuff entirely. I think in this day and age where there's so many opportunities to make classic music.
I think it has to be. I feel like if you've really got an eye and an ear for music, you can tell when it's when it's the real deal or not as well. It's like if you're kind of, let's say you're a 40-year-old Jay-Z and you listen to age-appropriate music, but you're not making age-appropriate music. Do you get what I mean? Like if you're trying to make music for like younger crowd, it can come across a bit like that. Where it's like with us, we never try to go, right, we're gonna try and make this new trap sound because that's what's happening right now. Now, not that I'm against it, I love it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if some of them drums fit with what I'm doing, then I'll play with that too. But
That's right.
we're literally doing what feels good to us, what we're into. And as mature adults with a mature palate, it's not going to be the same as what someone who's 18 is going to make. It's not.
And you're not going to get them neither. Because
No.
no matter how much you try and put the circle through the square, it's just that
Exactly.
if you ain't in there on their radar, and then there is a difference in age or distance from what you're trying to do to where their scene is. It's a tough one, isn't
Exactly, man. You got to be comfortable in your own skin, man.
On the flip of that, surprisingly enough, because we were never too sure who this music was for. Was it for people like ourselves? Was it for people older? Was it? Our shows have proved that.
You've got young kids in the place too.
Listen, we've got people. The mad thing is,
man.
quite a few times we've been out and there's people there with their kids or with their grandparents or with their nieces. There's people there who's different generations who's brought someone younger or someone older with him, and we've got like someone whose son and grandchild listens to our music, and she listens to our music. Do you know what I mean? So, and they all love it. Do you know what I mean? It's we weren't aiming to make it for anyone, but somehow it's there's bits in there that obviously someone who's old enough like, because obviously we listen to music that came before our time. We like music from before our time, and I still, we both still very up to date. You know what I mean? I listen to a lot of new music, so
absolutely, you got to. Or else
bro,
you're dead.
That's great as well. There's a lot of good stuff to listen to,
Lots.
so why not?
There's no excuses to be like falling into like, the comfort of nostalgia and being stuck in your record collection.
You know what? I think it's
No
I
way.
think it's lazy to say there's no good music. I think there's always been shit music. Can I swear on that? There's always been shit music. Always, man. And I think you're lying to yourself if you think every generation's had.
We always remember our era like it was the great, but if you actually think about it and look back, there was just as much shy as there was good. You know what I mean? And there always will be, man. I think right now with the internet, it's like being a digger back in the day, but everyone's got the opportunity to be a digger. You know what I mean? Like
It's not costing you 15 quid.
You can just go and find whatever you're into. You can find it.
I think there's still enough good new music for you to still be into whatever you're into.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with that. So on that note, so what things are flicking your switches at the moment? What kind of things are you into?
You know what? I'm obviously a hip hop head from growing up, but I also like soul and reggae. But more often these days, I listen to more soul than I do hip hop. I think there's a lot of really good new soul music, a lot of good UK soul music. I still listen to a lot of new hip hop. I listen. The thing is, because I do a radio show, I'm always constantly listening to new music, so I'm always searching stuff out. I listen to a lot of new hip hop. I don't so much love as much as I used to, but there's still enough out there that I kind of go. Still a lot of people barzing it up. There's still a lot of people making good beats. I've kind of fallen off reggae. I've no idea what new reggae. I have no idea what people are doing now. Like I kind of stopped about 10 years ago trying to keep up.
People say that about hip hop as well. It's like there's so much of a catalogue of it. It's like where do the people begin?
Well, hip hop wise, I think the thing with hip hop is that if you go back to the beginning of hip hop, every 5 years it changed drastically, man. Hip hop music changed drastically every 5 years. If you go from 87 and go to what happened in 87, 80, 92, I'm on 93, my maths is terrible. It changed so much, you know what I mean? And if you go from 93 to 97, it changed again so much. And then go from 97 to like 2000. Come on, there's a huge difference. So if you expect it to still now sound like what it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's not going to sound exactly the same, but it's, you know, although...
And all the older heads from the generation before had something to say about each.
They've all got something.
Each time there's always someone moaning about it, but to me, there's still a lot of really, really good stuff that sounds like traditional hip-hop. There's still a lot of good stuff that's new and cutting-edge hip-hop.
But you think with reggae, maybe that's...
No, I think with reggae, I think what happened with me was, it is two things. One, I used to buy a lot of vinyl and the cost of it's so expensive. So if you're playing reggae like how I used to play when you used to buy 7 cuts of the same tune and they were like £3 each, that's fine. But now they're like £9 a piece and you try to buy 7 pieces of the same rhythm, that's a lot of money. So I stopped buying reggae vinyl for a start. So I fell off there going to record shops. And I think African music kind of took what dancehall did and made their own thing. And now Jamaica kind of almost copies a little bit in some ways, I think. I think...
Recycle itself.
Not all of it. And the other thing is, I mean, dancehall stuff, I kind of totally fell off. It sounds a bit too clean and electronic for me. But the roots side of it, there wasn't a lot of new roots singers coming through that I really loved. And everyone loved Chronix and said he was the saviour and stuff. But I wasn't sold too much on Chronix. Like, he's good, but he's just not, you know. But as I say, I've fallen off a bit on reggae, so I can't really say who's good now. But I'm pretty up to date with soul, hip-hop, and I play a few other bits when I'm DJing out as well. But mostly these days, a lot of soul, a lot of hip-hop, but...
Do you feel like, just keep on that, do you feel like you want to try and, within the Children of Zeus, for instance, there is a raw kind of authenticity to it. You want to keep that within your production? Is that the sort of values like that you talk about, the rootsified sound?
Production-wise, I think it's the same as the writing, man. There's no real formula to it and there's no real direction with it. We just do what we know. So, you know, we can't do what we don't know. And what do we know? We both came from hip hop.
Sounds good.
We both came from hip hop. We're both obviously really into soul. We both grew up on reggae music. We both like jazz, but then we like loads of other stuff. Do you know what I mean? But there's gonna be little elements in there. But I think there's no real formula for it, and there's no real direction for it as far as what will come next. Not that it won't sound similar to what we've already done. I just don't know, because we might just go in there tomorrow and say, you know what, this is what we're making now. Do you know what I mean? I don't really know. I don't think it's going to be too far removed from what we do in any sense.
We're not going to change our taste of music. You know what I mean? Like, we like what we like, so it's always going to reflect that.
And you're like more hip hop orientated and soul and
Well, yeah. I mean, we both.
What kind of names spring to mind when you talk about influences?
I think if people would draw the kind of like the tribe kind of stuff and you know, Slumville. I think they're the kind of comparisons that we get, and are mixed with kind of like D'Angelo's and do you know what I mean? So obviously we both grew up on a lot of that kind of stuff, and anything that's kind of there's a whole new wave though of like artists that are coming through, man. I'm more into kind of like the mergence of hip hop, where you can't really say it's hip hop also. Do you know what I mean? I like that, like kind of like, you know, like what Smino's doing, that kind of singing, rapping, almost Anderson .Paak kind of stuff. You know, that really kind of...
You can't quite pinpoint
even
it.
Like, you know, I'm DDB, Manchester girl, she's kind of doing that kind of same thing. Hamdi, another Manchester guy. There's a lot of people that are kind of blurring the lines. And one other thing I like about that is, like, me being a soul, R&B and hip-hop lover, he's like, you could only be one at any one time. You get what I mean? And there was a point in the 90s where there was emergence of the hardcore hip-hop and the soul, so you got Mary J singing on some hard...
And the 8 bars...
But that's my favourite era when it comes to the... Do you know what I mean? Because I'm a mad hip-hop head and I'm a mad R&B soul head. So that mergence was just, like, perfect. So I feel like that's kind of probably what we've been trying to do. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like we're almost subconsciously trying to recreate that kind of era, you know?
That I can see, and that's fucking awesome, because that was an awesome era. Like... That was really You know who used to do that a lot? Fucking Buster.
Yeah, man. Buster did that a lot,
Buster
man.
used to smash that. And LL Cool J. Those guys were...
Hello, always had one of them, innit? But,
yeah, that was the J-Lo thing.
But what I like about it is that, like I was saying, it's used... Back at one point, it was one or the other, and I feel like it kind of almost got there again. So it's like it's either overly aggressive or it's... But I like hip-hop that shows its vulnerabilities, and I like R&B soul that isn't so... soft. Do you get what I mean? There's a grey area there that not enough people kind of explore.
I think the word you're looking for is Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill, she's a great example of that combination.
Is it hip-hop? Was Miseducation a hip hop album? Was it a soul album?
Yeah.
Was it trying to be either of them? I don't think she'd say it was either of them. And I think the same with us. I mean, people ask us sometimes you say it's hip hop, sometimes we say it. So
yeah.
I don't think I think we just need.
It's all in there, man. It's just all in there.
What is it? I don't know.
You can each individually make make your own mind up what it is, innit?
That's right, and that's the way good music should be, innit? You know what I mean? Well, I think we've hit peak.
Nice.
Because you guys are going off to Croatia this weekend.
Really looking forward to that.
By the time this airs, you'll be well on your way. I mean, this is all the beginnings. Exactly. There's only one road. Ladies and gentlemen, Killa inside the place. Killa podcast. Children of Zeus. Manchester Live. Our crew. Stay lucky, all right. Take care of yourselves.